Hi, boys and girls. Welcome back to Social Studies. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving and you were able to eat lots of delicious food and at least video chat with some of your friends and family during the break. So, we're back at it with Social Studies and we're in Chapter 2 still, which is Prehistory, but we're into Chapter 2, Section 2 now. We've done some projects and we've looked at some things, so now we're heading back to Chapter 2, Section 2, Prehistory. Wanted to start on Google Classroom, just reminding you and showing you where to access Chapter 2. So this is my Cruise homepage. You can see that it automatically opens into Stream. We've talked about this several times. You need to click on Classwork. That organizes everything. Go to Topics, go to this section over here, or scroll, and you can see there's a Chapter 2 topic. Click on that. Within that Chapter 2 topic, you can see right here is the book. So when you click on that, it'll take you to the book, and then that way you can have access to all the things I'm going to show you today. I do not want you in the book today. You, or at least right now, I should say, you are going to follow along with me. So please just be with me on the screen, and then you'll have a chance later on today to go through and to look at these different, what do they call them, widgets, and check these different things out. But this is Chapter 2. We've already done Section 1, so I'm going to scroll rapidly. You've seen that migration. We've talked about that, and we talked a little bit about fossils and artifacts. And today I asked you, we said, how do scientists know about things in prehistory? If prehistory is the time before writing, if there's no documentation, if there are no pictures, no writing, no text, how do we know what the heck happened in prehistory? Well, we talked about it a little bit, and I bet in today's question of the day, you said something about fossils and artifacts. So, how do historians know about things when there are no records? They use fossils and artifacts to piece together what it must have been like. Is it always perfect? No. Does it change? Yes. That is the pretty cool thing about being a detective of prehistoric times. You have to be fluid. You have to be open to change. You have to be able to say, I don't know if that's quite right. Let's reanalyze that. We talked about if a scientist finds something like this, one person might think it was for stirring. One person might think it's for killing. One person might think it's for writing. One person might think it was just a piece of garbage accidentally found. So we have to be willing to have open minds on things and discuss things and figure out what they might have been used for. So today in your question of the day, I hope you mentioned something about fossils and artifacts. What are artifacts? Artifacts are basically things left behind by humans that they once used or had, and that helps people to draw conclusions about what humans were doing at that time and so forth. So this is a map that shows different archaeological finds in different parts of the world. And so it's kind of cool. Later on today, you can go ahead and analyze this a little bit closer. But we're going to go ahead and move on and keep going. And so we are going to see that in this interactive right here, one of the artifacts that scientists use are rock paintings. Technically, I guess not writing, not written language, but it's a type of communication. And so we're going to go ahead and click on this and just see this interactive. But you know what? Because I've been having so much trouble with Screencastify today, I am actually not going to do it that way. I'm going to do it a different way. So, okay, so I said I'm going to do it a little different way, but I want to show you something first. So when you open that particular widget, the one right here that is 2.8, you are going to have to X out of this thing. It's asking you to do stuff. And then you're going to scroll down to where it says, oh boy, visual presentation. Click on that. That is going to get you to the little video that you want to see. I'm going to show you a little different way because I was having trouble with it playing in Screencastify, but you click on visual presentation. Okay, so I've got this video here. I'm going to play it for you. It is that widget 2.8. You can play it independently later on too. I'm going to X out so I can make this big. Oh, maybe I can't. Okay. see they're using materials to create etchings. Recreating what some of their clothes might have looked like during those particular time periods. So you can watch this video again and freeze some of these pictures if you're interested in a closer look. They're obviously going pretty fast. Okay, so thank you for watching that. And we are back to, this is where I got that at Interactive 2.8. So then we're going to go ahead and notice the carbon dating. So last section we said there's a theory that humans started in East Africa. Okay, why is the theory that way? The theory is that way that humans began in East Africa because that is where the oldest known human fossils have been found. And how do we know those are the oldest human fossils? Well, because of something called carbon dating. It's a scientific process in which they use carbon and compare it in a ratio. I'm going to show you this video in just a second. But that is the way scientists have figured out that the oldest human fossils have been found in East Africa. Now, does that mean that at some point there can't be more fossils found in a different area or more fossils found right in Africa but a different spot? Of course not. We're just saying that right now these are the oldest fossils. And as a matter of fact, at the end of this chapter, I'm going to go through an article with you that talks about some more finds that they made that they did have to make some changes in their theories and in their ideas. And scientists weren't exactly on board for that at first. There was a couple scientists who were upset. No, we don't think that's true. We don't know about that. So they had to debate it out and figure it out. In the end, they end up making some changes. But we'll talk about that later. But in this video, it talks about how anthropologists determine the age of a fossil using a process called carbon dating. We're right here right now, and so you can look at that. I'm going to show this, and again, of course, if you want to know more about it or freeze it at certain parts, you can go ahead and check out Interactive 2.9 at your own convenience later on. Right now, you're just watching this together with me. Okay, let's see here.
Carbon-14 is incredibly helpful for archaeologists who try to determine the age of prehistoric and ancient artifacts. Carbon is found in molecules that make up all living things. Most of this carbon is carbon-12, but a very small amount is carbon-14. Unlike carbon-12, carbon-14 is radioactive, and it turns into nitrogen as time passes. As long as an organism is alive, it will replenish its carbon-14, maintaining a constant ratio of carbon-12 to carbon-14. Once an organism dies, it no longer replenishes the carbon-14. The carbon-14 decays into nitrogen, but the amount of carbon-12 remains the same, so the ratio between the two changes. Based on this ratio, archaeologists can determine how long ago an organism died. Known as radiocarbon dating, this process has become standard practice in determining the approximate age of human remains and artifacts composed of organic material.
Okay, so that's kind of cool because it allows us to understand how scientists have been figuring this stuff out. It's not just a guess. They use this carbon dating, which leads us to how the heck do we know how old Otzi was? We knew how old Otzi, or how old he was when he died and when he was found because of carbon dating. So that's pretty cool. And then this is a weird video. I don't understand it. If you want to watch that in your own time, that's okay. We've talked a lot about Otzi already. We've talked about how he was a wet mummy and how that allowed scientists to make some really cool discoveries based on that. So we're going to go ahead and continue on. The other kinds of artifacts that may help scientists are things like sculptures, jewelry, masks, drawings. And you can go to these interactives and find some really cool things in these two interactives. The last time I did that in Screencastify, I ended up deleting Screencastify somehow. So, given that information and the fact that I don't want to make that same mistake, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys find this out by yourself. I was going to try and see if I could at least click on oh, okay. This is one of them. Good. So this is one of the websites. I opened it up in advance, and it's really cool because you can click on all these cool different spots and find lots of interesting things that may be fun for you. You might want a career in archaeology. So this might be something that really jets out to you, or just a hobby. So go ahead and mess around when you have some time in this particular website, and the other one is not quite coming up, so you'll have to go ahead and do that independently. There's another cave art thing in here which is really cool, and some masks and how they look at the different masks and they use these clues to figure things out. The last interactive right here I'm going to go through on a different video because it talks about how scientists had to change their mind about some things. They had to make a change in their theory because they found some more interesting things. So I will do that separately. This is what the article looks like. Nope, that's not. This is the one. So this is homonality, and this is the article, and they had to make some changes. So thank you for listening today. I know today was more of one of those lecture-y style lessons, but we need to have some background knowledge and understand the words fossil, which are human bones, or not human bones, just animal bones, and then artifacts, which are the things that humans have used: jewelry, painting, pottery, anything that they might find that humans have used. So we wanted to understand those terms and remember that in prehistory there is no written language, so we have to use these fossils and these artifacts to figure things out and put the pieces of the puzzle together to make a picture, to hopefully try and make theories and understand what life was like before and why humans have made the choices that they've made. Okay, boys and girls, it's been great to be with you. I find this stuff super interesting, and thinking back as to what humans were doing and why they were doing it and what led them down certain paths, and I hope you do too. Have a great day, and I'll be back with you in a little bit.